Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. K-Man Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The K-Man Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 13th day of March 2020. Pay no attention to the fact that it is Friday and that it is the 13th. Pay no attention to that whatsoever. Go ahead and act as you normally would, and everything should be just fine. For those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember that the life you save may be your own. We understand that there may be slow-moving traffic coming from the east as well. Some of that may be attributed to drilling just off the Shamrock Road area, I think in the vicinity of the east-west arterial or before Hurley's roundabout, drilling there, and as a result, some flooding of water. It really, I'm bemused and confused that they would choose to drill on the roads of the Cayman Islands this time of the morning, especially if it is causing flooding. One questions whether or not that work can be done during the night or at more convenient times rather than during high volumes of traffic and the peak traffic hours as well. Why we would do it then as opposed to other times. But we will discuss that later on as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working elsewhere. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Phone lines are always open during those periods, and there is always someone there waiting to take your call. This morning, it is the voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akai. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us 925-3261. You can leave us a text message, send us a voice note, contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to a Radio Cayman live stream. As you know, the first case of the coronavirus, confirmed case, occurred in the Cayman Islands. That confirmation was made yesterday in a government press conference. We will certainly be talking about that this morning. And what I would want to share with you at this point in time as well is information in relation to the flu hotline and the contact details there. So, and we're going to continuously share this with you on Radio Cayman and on For the Record as well. There's a hotline contact information number. That number is 1-800-534-8600. I'm going to repeat that again. Flu hotline. 1-800. So it's a toll-free number. 1-800-534-8600. There is another number as well. 947-3077. Another number, landline number, 947-3077. And then the you can also log on to www.hsa.ky/public health/coronavirus. You can also email questions to flu@hsa.ky. Right? These have been made operational. All of these contact numbers and the emails have been made operational to provide answers and guidance to those persons who experience flu-like symptoms or just have general questions that they may want to ask. The hotline numbers and the email addresses are manned 24 hours a day, so you should get a response because they're manned 24 hours a day, and the maximum response time for responding to email queries is 24 hours. So the maximum, that is the maximum, not the minimum, the maximum. We would hope that the minimum time is extremely short, and that if you're unable to get a live person on the line, and if you leave a voice message for them, that is monitored throughout those 24 hours, and someone will get back to you as quickly as possible. If that does not occur, then I would encourage you to register your complaints immediately. Do it to whomever, if it means calling the radio station and saying, listen, we've been trying to get this hotline. I called yesterday and up until now I haven't received a response yet. Let people know, because we have to hold people accountable now, and they have to respond to you. Also, if persons have policy questions, you can go to www.gov.ky and click on the coronavirus Be in the Know. And you can find the latest advice and guidance for households, businesses, and schools, as well as advice pertaining to older persons or persons with chronic diseases as well. So the government has provided for you various means of getting information, asking questions, getting that information. We will continue to stress the fact that you want to rely on official information. Do not rely on what friends will send you that's coming from other websites or whatever, telling you this, telling you that. Right now, until you find that the government's information is not credible, you follow what the government is telling you. The official information that is being given, follow that as well. You have radio. We know that there are people who are maybe technically challenged, may not have smartphones or whatever. There are various means, radio, Some people complain about the lack of television, but we do have government television as well. But those are just information that I'm putting out to you now, and we will continue to repeat those during the course of the show, and Radio Cayman will continue to remind you as well. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. Mr. McLean, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C., and morning to the greater Cayman Islands. O.C., we are at the crossroads once again. And it's very important, O.C., that we take personal responsibility for our own care at this time.
Yes.
There a lot of information is available to the public. As we speak, I am distributing those flyers house to house in East End. And I think that's where we can be helpful. All members of Parliament, we each of us have a constituency making up the entire Cayman Islands. Therefore, we know best how to reach our people in those constituencies. And I think it is important that we do what we can to ensure that we inform our people of this thing. It's not a matter of how, it's just a matter of when this thing is going to spread throughout the communities. And that's not to put fear in anyone. The fact is that we can't shut down the country. We cannot just totally shut down the country. We have our own people who are coming home and the likes, and we can't just keep them out and allow them to stay in somebody else's country. We have to receive them, and we don't know who they have come in contact with and the likes. But if we treat it with respect and we and we're careful with how we manage ourselves, then I believe we can contain this disease. We're small enough to do it, but we're also small enough that, and the way we conduct ourselves as well, it can spread real quick. So we have to change our habits, change our behaviors. I know Caymanian people love to hug up and greet each other and get close to each other. Just friends in the supermarket and the likes. And now when they hear the professionals telling us, the experts telling us to stay 3 to 6 feet from another person, from the other individual, we get concerned and well, you know, we're protecting ourselves, and we're protecting those people too, and we're protecting this thing from spreading to other people. Because I don't know where that person has been. I don't know what they touched. They could have touched church pew. They could have touched something in the supermarket that someone else touched that is a carrier. And we cannot be afraid to keep those distances, really. It is important that we all take personal responsibility now to protect ourselves. I didn't want to see it here, but I expected that it would. Somewhat relieved that we have the one case that is here now. We have hopefully contained that. But that's not to say that is going to go on forever. So the more we change our behavior, the better it is. And this is not an easy decision for us all to make on how we move forward to protect this country. It is not easy. there are no easy solutions to it. We met all yesterday, the executive of the disaster management, all day yesterday. I was called away to give blood at the hospital, but and we are wrestling with a number of things. We can shut down the airport, but then no one is isolated in this world. No country can be isolated. We're always dependent on the outside. We can shut down the number of countries that it's coming from, and say no one comes in. But let's look at the case we have. The rules of the sea says that if you have someone on the ship that is gravely ill, the first port you reach, you have to disembark that person. And those are conventions that are accepted the world over. This person had a heart condition. We can't just isolate ourselves. Therefore, it's probably inevitable that we are going to infiltrate this country from the outside. That's the way it comes in to any country. And then now when we see local transmission, then it will get a little more.
Right. And that's where we need to concentrate on reducing that local transmission, and want to talk about that a little bit more when we return from this commercial break as well, and see what is being done in that area. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, The Cayman Islands. He hath founded it upon the seas.
The 1700s proved to be a very important century to the Cayman Islands. Permanent settlement of Grand Cayman began with a few families, most notably the Boddens. Between 1734 and 1742, 5 land grants in Grand Cayman were made by the governor of Jamaica. At this time, mahogany and logwood were exported to Jamaica. In 1780, William Eden, a mariner and early English settler, established a cotton and mahogany plantation in Savannah's Pedro Bluff and built St. James, now known as Pedro St. James Castle, a remarkable building for that period and the only house on Grand Cayman to survive a devastating hurricane of 1784. In 1794, the wreck of the 10 sails occurred, and Cayman's most popular legend of how the island became tax-free was born. In 1798, the governor of Jamaica appointed the first magistrate in Cayman.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
I remember playing at 7 Mile Beach as a boy, eating mango by the sea, learning how to snorkel. My mother, she worked so hard to provide for our family so that we could have those moments. Seeing her age has been tough. That strong, capable woman, now in need of daily support, it's my time to be strong for her.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Baden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS Brack Agency in Cayman Brack. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit fiscayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. I'm going to share with you, those of you, we would hope and trust that everyone has become aware of this now. But yesterday there was a press briefing, a news conference, and then a press release was made. First case of COVID-19 in the Cayman Islands confirmed, and it reads, the Public Health Department confirms that one of the persons tested recently for the novel coronavirus has tested positive. The patient is a visitor who was transferred from a cruise ship for a critical cardiac issue, said Medical Health Officer Dr. Samuel Williams Rodriguez. Dr. Williams continued, the patient was doing well, but subsequently developed breathing difficulties, was isolated, and a test taken has confirmed he is suffering with the novel coronavirus. The remainder of the samples sent to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPA, have for testing on Monday the 9th of March came back negative today, Thursday the 12th of March. So out of the 5 that were sent, 1 proved to be positive. Goes on to say that the patient has been isolated and is receiving medical support having tested positive for the COVID-19. Dr. Benoit, Clinical Director at Health City, Cayman Islands, confirmed that. The public is reminded to take all necessary precautions against contracting the coronavirus. The risk can be reduced by implementing personal protective measures such as frequent hand washing, covering nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing, and avoiding close contact with people suffering from acute respiratory illness. And then, of course, for more information on how to do it, visit, and I gave you information before, www.hsa.ky/coronavirus, and also www.ky/coronavirus. So, Mr. McLean, we've gone from a situation where there was a suspected, well, it hadn't even been stated it was a suspected case. They sent samples off to be tested. 1 has come back positive. One of the benefits that we have in the Cayman Islands is that we have been able to watch and to follow what has been taking place worldwide in relation to this coronavirus and the measures that other countries have taken since after it was detected in the country, the measures that they have taken in that regard. What we haven't seen yet, and what I think it is important for the authorities to reassure the people of the Cayman Islands that the measures that were taken in transporting this individual from the ship to the hospital and the measures taken in the hospital as far as isolation, measures taken in terms of identifying those persons who have come in contact with the affected individual, to reassure the public that all of those proactive or reactive measures are taking place now or have taken place in terms of tracking this. Because we see what they talk about trying to flatten the curve, as far as the increase in the number of cases, trying to keep that curve as flat as possible. That means within a given period of time, seeing a lesser amount of cases rather than in a short period of time seeing the number of cases climb. And so we know that it is important to know and to deal with those persons who may have come in contact with that individual as well, whether there is need for self-isolation or otherwise as well, sir.
Well, OC, and I should make it clear that I have been working very closely with the Premier on this matter.
Yes.
We have been communicating life, right, and center, and we share the same concerns. And we're experiencing the same difficulties on how and what we do in this country, because I'm on the executive of the disaster management, as the leader of the opposition. And he and I have been in constant contact, because this is not about politics anymore. This is about our people, and we need to do what is necessary to ensure that we do what we can to protect them.
Okay.
Some of the countries, OC,
we have two callers. I'm going to try to see if we could grab one before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I just wanted to let you know I'm Caymanian American,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm on Cayman Brass, and I'm due to go back to Florida the end of March. So what I have done to be a responsible citizen, I have called my dentist's office and canceled my appointments for June. I have canceled with my primary care physician and other doctors and moved those up. Now, if I cannot get back, I can call H&R Block 1-800, because tax day in the States
1st of April
has to be April 15th. So I can stay here if I get stuck and do my taxes online, okay? But the best thing that we all can do is pray for each other that this will go away. We need to pray for our leaders. We need to pray for each other and be supportive.
And take responsible action, and like you have taken as well.
Right. And I think that we all will have a 9/11 feel. Right after 9/11, everyone had that feeling in the pit of their stomachs of, oh my, something has happened. Well, something has happened, and we can pray for God's peace right now, and we can be strong for each other and be there for each other.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Thank you very much. I think we can grab the other caller as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Rosie?
Yes, good morning, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Good morning. I would like to make one correction that has been announced. You did say just now 05 they were sent off and one came back positive.
No, he said the 5 sent off on Monday.
The 5 sent off on Monday, yes.
Yeah.
But then it's a 6th one,
Yeah, but we did that the next day. So
and they're waiting now on that result.
That's correct. Yes, that one went off on Tuesday evening or something of that nature.
And they're waiting, and so they got 4 negative and 1 positive, and waiting on another result.
That is correct.
That's correct.
You are correct, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, caller, for that.
God bless us all.
Okay.
Yeah, and be careful. Just be careful. Just don't. All that we have taken for granted as Caymanians, as residents, as island people, so to speak, that we all live here, it is no longer available to us, at least for a period. Even the manner in which we open doors. Nowadays, you don't know what is on that door now. So you have to do things like, that's what they tell you, wash your hands often, because you don't know what you just touched. You don't know who else touched it. And it is a change from the way we're used to operating, and it is important that everyone takes personal responsibility, like that lady that just called up. But we should know that we cannot ban Caymanians from coming back to this country. We can use the law and prevent people from other countries from coming into this country, but we cannot prevent Caymanians. However, upon their arrival, there are certain provisions. We can subject you to certain conditions, such as isolation requested of you,
or testing,
and testing, and when you do not subject yourself to that, then we can make it mandatory.
Okay, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned for the record with the Honourable Arden McLean. Will continue immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman Time Check is now 8 a.m. Your time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
At Bay Market Cafe, we know life can get in the way of good food, so we're here to offer a helping hand. Online ordering is back, and this time, it's better than ever. With hundreds of menu items to choose from, you can order breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a sweet treat, and pick it up at Bay Market Cafe in Camana Bay in just 20 minutes. Work or live in Camana Bay? Have it delivered. So whether you need your morning coffee or you're craving a bowl of ramen, order the food you love and skip the line. Visit baymarket.ky to order.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Value Med Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop Value Med for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Cabinet is meeting today to discuss the way forward as Cayman sees its first positive test result for COVID-19.
We are of the view, although Cabinet has not formalized these decisions yet, that we are going to have to take some fairly radical and drastic measures that are going to impact social behavior, travel, and indeed people's economic circumstances. But we believe that unless we do so, the result could be potentially devastating.
As you heard live right here on Radio Cayman Thursday afternoon, Premier the Honorable Alden McLaughlin says his government will not allow the situation to deteriorate as it has in other countries, quote, such as Italy and the United States. A decision about the possibility of expanding the travel ban list is also expected to be released to the public after this morning's meeting. Cayman's first confirmed case is that of a 68-year-old Italian man who was evacuated from a cruise ship Monday to Health City Cayman Islands after having 2 cardiac arrests on board requiring resuscitation. He subsequently developed minor respiratory symptoms, prompting a test and his movement to a quarantined room. Health officials at HCCI assured the public that the potential risk of COVID-19 infection to the professionals who care for the man is, quote, minimal. The best way to stop the spread of COVID-19 is still catch it, trash it, wash it. Government is encouraging folks not to panic and to continue using basic hygiene practices like adjusting your social behaviors, washing your hands, cleaning surfaces, and being careful and observant to people around you. If they're coughing or sneezing, stay a respectful distance from them. More broadly, many companies have already put in place business continuity plans, and government is encouraging this proactive approach, adding that the more people who are able to work from home, the less opportunity for them to catch and spread COVID-19. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee.
I'm well aware that many large companies have got good, strong business continuity plans, but I'd like to reach out to all the smaller companies, the people who've got 1 or 2 employees, maybe 3 employees. It may be a family company. You may be thinking COVID is not coming to you. Please sit around the kitchen table, sit around the office, have a discussion about your plans for your smaller business and whether you can pass any jobs on to somebody else in order to keep your business going and what you're going to do. So it could affect everybody.
For more information and tips on how to stay safe, make sure to head to hsa.ky/coronavirus. Progressive Distributors is asking you to be kind to one another and stay calm, adding that with regards to their goods, there's, quote, more than enough for everyone. Progressive says so far the coronavirus pandemic has had an immediate effect on about 30 individual PDL stocked items out of several thousand items that are in stock on island. This represents less than 1% of PDL's itemized portfolio. The challenges they are currently facing are strictly related to hand sanitizer, bleach, and antibacterial-related items, and paper products like toilet paper, which are the hardest hit. Again, Progressive is asking residents to stop panic buying supplies because it causes major challenges for Cayman. For example, people are buying more than what any individual household can consume in a month out of fear and panic, and that causes unwanted and unnecessary panic and stress on the supply chain, which has resulted in stock shortages in these isolated areas such as antibacterial and paper product segments. National airline Cayman Airways is keeping an eye on the developments. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin reports.
Cayman Airways Limited says it has been closely monitoring the situation regarding the coronavirus, taking several proactive and voluntary measures to help ensure the, quote, continued safety and well-being of CAL passengers and employees. The 3 main areas of focus have been the cleaning of aircraft, the sanitization of catering items and equipment, and clean environments for employees and customers. All catering equipment on board CAL's aircraft already undergo a thorough sanitization regimen, but the company's catering providers locally and overseas have also now introduced their own enhanced sanitization measures and procedures at their facilities, as well as for the transportation of scheduled catering to and from CAL's airport. CAL says their airport partners are ensuring that check-in areas and departure gates are maintained in a suitable sanitary condition, while all Cayman Airways employees, especially those on the front line, are being briefed on the best practices and health advisories issued by the World Health Organization and local health officials with regards to how to stay germ-free and healthy in the fight against COVID-19. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
That's your latest news. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Did you know that Value Med Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with Value Med. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location, Value Med on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Get ready for Retrospective, Cayman's National Dance Company's annual show at the Harkwell Theatre, March 27 and 29. Retrospective, a versatile journey of the company's signature dances and new creation. Tickets are $25 for adults and $15 for children, and available at Audiophile, Bang & Olufsen, Radiance Dance Studio, or simply call 926-1826. Retrospective by Cayman National Dance Company is sponsored by CUC, Burger King, ARC Directors, Big Fish, 95.5 FM, Radio Cayman, and Hurley's Media.
Imagine if we all practice safe driving. Imagine if we all refused single-use plastic. Imagine if we all turned off lights when not in use. We can all do our part in making Cayman Islands safer, cleaner, and greener. Together, we can achieve. Visit gov.ky/safer, cleaner, greener to learn more.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic. Your life connected.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Super Stitch. We are known for our amazing fabrics, top quality tailoring, and dressmaking. But did you know that we also carry trimmings, glitter, sequins, acrylic paints for fabrics and craft, floral wire, glues, markers, foam balls, and assorted ribbons? Yes, we do. You have a do-it-yourself project? Just pop into Super Stitch and see what we have in store for you. There is a craft item for your every need.
My favorite, the beads, glass ones, flat, and even those shell ones.
Super Stitch, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at your latest weather. Compliments of Super Stitch. Present temperature 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Conditions are partly sunny. Relative humidity 83%. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 10 knots. Barometric pressure at 29.97 and holding. Synopsis: moderate east to northeast winds and slight to moderate seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a high-pressure system over the western Atlantic Ocean. Forecast for today: partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Later on tonight, partly cloudy skies, very little chances of showers. Temperatures will fall to the low 70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. We're in a low tide. High tide is coming up at 12:08 this afternoon. Low at 6:43 this evening. For tomorrow, high tide is at 1:27 a.m. Low at 7:52 a.m. High at 1:09 p.m. and low at 7:56 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:33. Sunrise for tomorrow morning at 6:35. The outlook is for an increase in winds and seas from Sunday morning as the pressure gradient tightens over the northwest Caribbean. That's the latest weather.
Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
If your business is over here, but your customers are over here, adding more yellow to your business will bring you both right here. With everyone searching yellows, print, online, and mobile app, getting your business noticed is easier than ever. Book your consultation today at findyellow.com.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning, Kima. Let's take a look at the traffic movements this morning. East-West Arterial still got some traffic backed up and moving very, very slowly. That's caused to the drilling just off Shamrock Road just before the Hurley's roundabouts. Not sure if the road is still flooded or if water has subsided. I'm not sure. It would be good to let you know or let us know if that's the case. You could give us a call at 949-6990. Looking outside King Sports Center, though, the traffic has built up along the Linford-Pearson Highway coming off the Shamrock Road. And similar if you're heading on to Crew Road. Turning down through Agnes Dale, Bobby Thompson Way. Experience that traffic as you get to the four-way stop along Smith Road. Alda Avenue, turning onto Elgin Avenue, Thomas Russell Way. Experience some traffic. Most streets in Georgetown getting busy with the influx of traffic. Godfrey Nixon Way, Eastern Avenue, getting very much busy. Just off West Bay Road, similar situation. Incoming traffic, slow moving, but good timing for you if you're making your way into Georgetown. SLE Tibbetts Highway, good movement as well. Expect the usual slow-paced traffic this morning time. The traffic report, of course, brought to you by our friends at Subway. Buckle up, stay safe, and don't be on your smartphone if you're driving.
You know what goes perfect with tuna? Bacon. That's why Subway's adding bacon to our delicious tuna sandwich. It's the Tuna BLT. At just 540 calories for a 6-inch, you'll love this mouth-watering combination of flavors. Subway's tasty tuna sandwich is simply sumptuous on its own, but add bacon and it's out of this world delicious. After all, bacon and tuna are perfect together. Stop by any of Subway's 7 locations today and get the Tuna BLT. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Get ready, gamers, for 6 weeks of non-stop competitive action. The Cayman Islands Esports Association is proud to announce the first ever FIFA E-League. Starting February 1st. Compete for the gold on FIFA 20 for the PS4 every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Bodden Town Civic Center. Sign up today at CaymanEsports.org. Competitor fee is just $75 and includes your own jersey and swag bag. Spectators are free, so come out and enjoy the world of esports. Proudly sponsored by Gamers Bay, NetGeeks Media, CUC, Kimpton Seafire, and the Cayman Islands Youth Services Unit.
The FIFA E-League is also sponsored by Radio Cayman.
Hi, I am Dr. Lee, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health. The Ministry and the Department of Public Health, along with our partners, are working hard to help protect residents from the novel coronavirus. Did you know that following travel advisories is especially helpful in controlling infections? So, avoid travel if you have a cough, flu-like symptoms, and a fever. It's also important to practice general infection prevention measures at all times. That means frequently wash your hands and avoid close contact with people suffering with acute respiratory symptoms. To read more about the Public Health's travel advisory and other updates, please visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. One of our listeners has sent a question in, and I don't think that the intention here is political in any way, but simply wanting to know what the procedures are. So the focus will be on the Legislative Assembly and not as to why anything to do with the Speaker at this point in time. It says, good morning, Lucy. Can you please ask Mr. Arden, how will the Legislative Assembly members meet if needed for an emergency in respect of decisions about the COVID-19 in view of the Speaker's absence and no deputy?
Oh, that's simple. Section 72 of the Constitution it is. And let me read
Standing
that.
orders?
Of the Constitution.
Constitution. Okay,
yeah. Of the Constitution.
Yeah.
Says, at sittings and I quoting from 7 to 2. At sittings of the Legislative Assembly, there shall preside A, the Speaker, or B, in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, or in the absence of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, such one of the elected members other than a minister as may be elected by the elected members. So what that says is, if both of them are absent, we can elect one of the other members to preside for that meeting. Okay, then we may let me take it a little further. And then to approve monies, we have to go through the Finance Committee, and the chairman of Finance Committee, who is the Minister for Finance, can call Finance Committee anytime he so chooses. So there is no concern there.
No obstacles to the
no
Legislative
obstacles
Assembly meeting.
to go and make decisions and make emergency laws. However, if that was a concern, we have cabinet that is in place, and cabinet can make regulations under the disaster preparedness and hazard management law to ensure the country is protected. They can make, as a matter of fact, they just made a regulation on banning visitors from certain countries, and now they are going to meet, cabinet probably will meet today to update that and do another one, but they have to gazette it for it to be secondary legislation and govern the country from that perspective. But if we have to change primary legislation, need not worry, that can be done. That can be done. There is no obstacles, as you say, to us doing that. And the Constitution make provisions for all these things, all these eventualities, if they do happen. So it's no one needs to worry about that.
Okay. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit and go to the UK, because we certainly look for them for guidance, and we saw some news last week or this week in relation to UK authorities being here in the Cayman Islands and discussing this issue. In the UK, there seems to be some slight disagreement in terms of the approach to be taken in dealing with the coronavirus. And there's an article in the BBC News that says coronavirus UK measures defended amid criticism. And it says, telling those with a high temperature or cough to self-isolate for a week will have the biggest impact in the fight against coronavirus, the UK Chief Science Advisor says. So the Chief Science Advisor has said that at this point in time, that advising those persons who are experiencing high temperature or cough that they should self-isolate is one of the best, will have the biggest impact because the person-to-person or the community spread will be lessened. It says that Sir Patrick Valance said the new advice was a big intervention amid criticism of the government's plan to combat the virus. The article goes on to say that the UK has moved from containing the coronavirus to delaying it. But ex-Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt called for more stringent measures to be taken. The Foreign Office has advised against all but essential travel to some areas of, say, Spain, including Madrid. What else? And they talk about the fact holding off and canceling large gatherings was, they speak to that as well. So, but the point in terms of moving from containing to delaying it, Do you believe that we in the Cayman Islands need to take that approach now as well, or should we be doing both at the same time, trying to contain and at the same time trying to delay it?
Absolutely. I told you we met all day yesterday. That's one of the issues we were tackling with, and there are some recommendations that will come into place within some time today. You know, the UK is the one who advise on travel for United Kingdom and overseas territories,
yes.
citizens. So we are following that advice, but putting in place our own advice on people coming to the country, our own provisions,
yes,
based on advice that they have set out. And one of the things that we're trying to categorize it in the category 1 countries and the category 2 countries, and it will apply to residents and visitors alike. If you're, like for instance, if you're coming from a category 1 country, even if you're not, if you show no symptoms, they should isolate for at least 14 days. If you're coming from category 2, then you should at least, if you have flu or symptoms, you we should require you to isolate yourself for 14 days. Now, and that is going to have to be reviewed on a daily basis. Now, category 1 as of yesterday were China, Italy, South Korea, and all those places. Japan, they have added on a number of other ones. Jamaica just did it as well. And then the other countries are like the category 2 include like U.S., UK, Canada, Jamaica. Those places are category 2, which if you're coming from there in terms, then you don't have to, but they recommend you and check with the HSA and the like. So it is a difficult, there are difficult decisions to be made, because you don't want to isolate your country, you don't want to restrict your people as well, but they also have a responsibility. So the community and government needs to work hand in hand, and the community needs to follow all that advice to contain this thing and to prevent it.
Okay, we have a caller. We're going to go to that call. I just want to mention, and after the caller and the commercial break, we'll talk more about it. But the Cayman Compass has just put up on their website as well a story: Health City staff fall ill, no new patients allowed in hospital. And I will share that article as soon as we take the caller and we take a commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good, fine. And good morning to the Honorable Arden McLean. Steve McField here.
Good morning, Doc. How are you doing?
Mr. McLean, I beg to differ with you, with your interpretation of Section 7.2. 3, I think it is. The section talks about the absence of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Erskine Mays and you look at how the absence of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker is determined, there are 2 absences. One, there is a unavoidable absence. That is when you get leave to go to a wedding or a business trip, or someone is ill, temporary ill, or someone in your family is ill, or a wedding or a funeral, and events to that effect. That is what is called an unavoidable absence. There's another absence that talks about a leave of absence. A leave of absence can only be obtained by the House of Commons, House of the Legislative Assembly, for the Speaker, and it has to be by motion brought by the government side. That is debated. Of course, the motion will set out why he needs the leave of absence, or he needs a leave of absence, how long the leave of absence is going to be, and so forth. And then that is debated, and if the House agrees, they will then vote to give him a leave of absence. I think it takes a majority of the members in the House. In the other situation, we do not have. There's no legitimate leave of absence. We have the deputy speaker who resigned. So we have no speaker. We have no deputy. So Section 72, does not apply to him. In regards to the speaker has unilaterally taken a leave of absence, which is unconstitutional and illegal. And that can only be put right when the House comes back and the motion is brought by the government to say whether or not Mr. Bush should have a leave of absence from the chair. So Section 72 does not speak about resignation. It speaks about a leave of absence. And in both categories of the leave of absence that I just told you, that I spoke to you about, all of those have to be legitimate. So Section 72 does not speak about a resignation of when there's a resignation of the speaker, and when the speaker takes a leave of absence. Yes, it would apply to him if his leave of absence was legitimate, but it's not.
Okay.
He has unilateral vacated the chair.
Okay. Let's look at the practicalities of that provision. That provision presupposes that the Parliament is meeting every day. Now, our Parliament does not meet every day. Our Parliament meets quarterly, at the best of times. I have fought for Parliament to meet every Wednesday from 2:00 into the night, but that's besides the point now. Now, let's look at the further practicalities of operating that Section 72. We don't meet on a daily basis, nor even weekly. I said that. Now, that announcement was made between Parliament sessions. It also makes provision that suppose something were to happen to both of those people, Speaker and Deputy Speaker, when there is a need then, suppose they were off the island, God forbid something happened to them, they're hospitalized, they're this, whatever, both of them together. We need to meet to affect a motion from the government for the Speaker to take a leave of absence. We need to meet. Now, Section C makes that provision and says any one of us can be Speaker other than a minister for that meeting. Now, I don't know. I know what? I am not going to sit back and not go to Parliament if we have to when we got our provision, and I would expect that if we follow our skin mail, like you say, which I am very familiar with, that the government would bring that motion then. And in the absence of them bringing that motion, then there is a debate to be had. Now, how we get that debate on the floor, the only provisions the opposition has available to it is that we bring a vote of no confidence to debate the provision of leave of absence for the Speaker, whether that is permanent, to remove him permanently, or for a period. That is what needs to happen under that provision.
So you agree with me that the leave 72 envisage the situation where you have a Speaker and a Deputy Speaker, but there's a leave of absence that has been granted to them either by the legislature, or there's an unavoidable absence.
Absolutely.
Or something like that.
I totally agree with you. But that's not to say, Doc, that I'm going to sit down as a member of Parliament or leader of the opposition and allow the government not to have any meetings.
So what are you going to do about it then?
Well,
because the next thing is to do what they did in England when Boris Johnson refused to call Parliament together, they went to court.
Absolutely. No, that's a different thing. Now we can go to court if it's a time beyond what we consider as reasonable. But I don't think it's beyond reasonable at this stage.
Well, the situation you have a runaway speaker, a speaker that has walked off the chair without a permission from the legislature, and that's illegal. That's unconstitutional. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. In the absence of the premier of the government bringing a motion to the floor to advise, vote on, debate on the leave of absence, then the opposition's only recourse is to bring a vote of no confidence during that meeting. We got to convene Parliament to get it done.
Well, and it has to be convened sometime. You can't wait till next year, May.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. And that will not happen.
Well, I hope so. Because I am on the sideline looking and waiting because you cannot have, in such a small country, let's say that we're democratic, you can't have this situation continuing hold up by one person.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. But I don't think, based on the quarterly meetings that we have, I don't think it's yet unreasonable. We were there in January. So, we should be going back in short order. And I would expect that the government would notify me that...
Well, Mr. McLean, with due respect, and I humbly, and I respect you, and you know that.
Yes, sir.
But for the salary that the legislators are getting, they should meet more often than what you just told me.
Well, the standing orders say quarterly. The Constitution says at least once per year. Doc, I have fought this from the day I entered Parliament. I got at least 3 banker boxes full of information. And my interventions, I was part of it as a minister. I've been part of that subcommittee ever since I went to Parliament. And one of the things was that I said we would meet Wednesday at 2. That gives the ministers opportunity to go in and do their work in the morning, go into the night, and if there is business that needs to be done, we come back Thursday. That's once a week, which is not unlike other parliaments in the Commonwealth. I think Jamaica meets Tuesday, I think it is. Some of the other ones meet at different days. I have fought for this. I have also fought for us to have a rolling order paper, business paper, wherein all the works, just like it's done in England, all that the Parliament is going to deal with is down on that paper. And once it has reached that 21 days, government can pick theirs out and put it on the order paper or whatever the opposition wants to take out because they're on the business committee to be dealt with that day. And these things, the paper is there and all, it just keeps getting added on and on and on. Right now, we are hamstrung by you got to submit questions 10 days in advance. So you got to submit motions 5 days in advance. I've also asked to do at least a half hour of question time, that questions are submitted that morning. Because what happened is those questions can sit there for months and they become irrelevant. But
yes.
but that has always been a part of my intervention. We have gotten a few things done out of all these years of reviewing the standing orders. When I got there, it was that the chief secretary was responsible for the Standing Orders Committee because it was under the governor. You see, we are now advancing that to say that the governor cannot, it does not have to be approved by the governor. So it is evolving, but the problem is, for me, it's not fast enough. And when you get young people coming in there now, new generation, new ideas, it is not evolving fast enough for them.
I just want to ask you one more question.
Very quickly, Doc, because we've gone past our commercial break. Yeah.
I just want to ask you one more question now. If this corona thing get out of hand, okay, and you have to go back to the people, how are you going to do that? And especially if you have to declare a state of emergency.
Well, you can do a state of emergency under the disaster preparedness.
Yes. But suppose there's a controversy about it, and you need to call the legislature together. How are you going to do that?
Well, the first one of the orders on that, we'll have to call it, and one of the orders is going to have to be that we address the leave of absence of the speaker and appoint a deputy speaker. All that needs to happen before we do anything else on the
conduct any business.
Doc,
I want to thank you very much for that. Gone way past our commercial break. Paul is going to kill me for this, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, formerly known as Professional Pharmacy, would like to thank the Cayman communities for their loyal support these past 18 years. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care. Thorough background checks and follow-up consultations is only the beginning. Your safety is our concern. Our staff are respected healthcare professionals whose job requires careful and precise calculations. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, where we prepare to provide exceptional care. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we care about your health.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
2020 means perfect vision. And if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Just two of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of the Business Buzz is brought to you by Compton Us Cayman Limited, offering bookkeeping services, property management, customs brokerage, and Cayman auto and tech services. For more information, call them on 623-6941 or 323-3995 or email info@comptonuscaymanlimited.com.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We've had this caller on hold for quite a while, so we're going to take the caller right now. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Thanks for being so patient.
Good morning, O'Shea, and good morning, Arden.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
What I want to mention this morning is about this coronavirus that we have now in Cayman, which is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep newspapers, and I keep them for a reason that I can go back and see what's been said over a certain period of time. But anyway, back on the 26th of February, a ship came in here it was an Italian ship. It was the Meraviglia. and she carried a bunch of passengers and stuff like that. But it was a sick Italian or Filipino, a crew member that was sick on that, and they had all the evidence that he was being tested, and there was no thing of this coronavirus thing. But the ship was denied in Jamaica. They were not allowed to land, and then they came here, and they also rejected the ship from anybody coming ashore. Now, that guy went to Mexico. They landed him there because the captain had all the information on what the crew had all been checked, and they passed it, everything. And nobody had any of the controversies. So they were allowed to land in Mexico. Now we go on the 2nd of March, the article in the Compass, nothing to fear over Italian cruise ship. That's on page 8 of that 2nd of March paper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you read that, including the medical, everybody, the chief medical officer, Dr. William Rodriguez, and all of these people were saying, oh, there's nothing to fear, and they let all these Italians get off the ship. But apparently, that same ship, the guy now that's up in the Shatter Hospital that has this thing, and you just mentioned that some of the people that had caught something, he obviously was some wealthy Italian that was on that ship. They took him off, and they put him up there. And what I'm saying is this.
No. He didn't come off that ship.
No.
No.
Well, he came off with one ship anyway.
Okay. You went to sea. You know the rules. You know the rules of the sea.
I know the rules. I'm just reading the paper.
The rules of the sea, Geneva Conventions are, and I did this as an engineer, they are that when you have a crew member, whatever, passenger, and they fall gravely ill, that it cannot be helped addressed on the ship, the first port. And that is what happened in this situation. That ship was not stopping here. It was prevented from stopping here, as a matter of fact. It was recalled to Miami. This man had 3 cardiac arrests on that ship, and they had to hit him with the paddles 3 times to bring him back. Okay. He had a history.
I didn't know that.
Right. He had a history of heart problems.
But then
we had banned people who had traveled into Italy by that time when that ship came. But we had no choice but to take that man off
because of his condition,
life
condition.
Threatening.
That's good. Good. But now, this guy that on the 3rd of March, Tuesday, the officials deny coronavirus patient being treated at the City Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that one, from Dr. Williams and everybody, and
what's the point that you're trying to get across? We can deal with the minute details later. What's the point that you're trying to get across, Colin?
The point that I'm making is that everybody was saying there's nobody here with the coronavirus.
And I'm going to interrupt you there for a second. And they have to say that until the test results come back.
Yes, but they never said that. They just said they denied that there was anything. It was a rumor. They said.
But we knew that they sent tests off. They did say that tests had been samples had been sent off to be tested.
Not in that article. Not in that article. Not in the article I'm reading. That's what I'm saying.
What do they say there then? Tell us what they say.
They just said they said Dr. Samuel Rodriguez, medical officer of health at the Public Health Department, told the Cayman Compass that there are no suspected or confirmed cases on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are no You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he was absolutely right because no test results had come. Whether or not he said that test samples had been sent off or samples had been set off for testing, what he said there was factually correct at that point in time until he got the results.
What date was that?
That was on the
3rd of March.
Okay.
The paper was 3rd of March.
Okay. Follow me now. That gentleman was taken off that day or the next day, something like that. His cardiac arrest, the heart problem, his condition was addressed by Health City. Mm-hmm. When he developed symptoms, flu-like symptoms, subsequently, they suspected it then. So Cayman Compass, that was Tuesday, that Tuesday the 2nd, so probably they got that on the Monday from them to be able to have it in the Tuesday's paper, right? Mm-hmm. On Monday the 9th, they sent off those 5 people, the test, to test 5 samples people, the samples. And then on Tuesday, they sent another one. Mm-hmm. On Monday evening later or something like that, which was 6. Mm-hmm. Now, he was right. So let's be very careful now that we don't paint Dr. Williams or whichever one it was
it would be irresponsible to say, even at that point in time, to say that the person
it would be irresponsible
displaying symptoms of it, not knowing, because what you're doing then is that you're alarming to the public to something that you don't really have any factual evidence, which would be, in this case, conclusive evidence would be the results of a test. Anyway, we're going to ask the caller to leave us there. We missed another commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Insurance is complicated. Make your life easier and better protected with comprehensive financial solutions from FIS Insurance Brokers, with plans from life, health, property insurance, motor, public liability, and professional liability insurance. Whether you're protecting your family or your business, leave nothing to chance. Understand your options and protect yourself for the future. Speak to your FIS Insurance Broker agent today, located on Shedden Road by MoneyGram, or call 623-5616.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Your loose change may not seem like much right now, but we know that it does add up to a lot once you put it all together. Last year, the Meals on Wheels Change for Change coin drive raised enough to provide over 6,000 nutritious hot meals to some of the most vulnerable members of our country, our seniors. We seek your generous donations once again as we aim to continue to serve over 50,000 meals per year. Please gather up your loose change, empty your coin jar, or whatever amount you can afford to donate when you see Meals on Wheels volunteers stationed around Grand Cayman on March 27th and 28th. Join Cayman Islands Meals on Wheels, Davenport Development, and Radio Cayman in the fight to end senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Visit mealsonwheels.ky to learn more.
2020 means perfect vision, and if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Just 2 of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. 7 minutes before we go to headline news at 9 o'clock, and we have a couple of callers. So let's grab the callers. But I do want to, before other information gets out there in relation to the health situation, I really want to quickly share this with you because we know that the rumor mill will start. We know that the fake news will be going out there as well. So the Cayman Compass has reported Friday the 13th of March, Reshma Ragnath, Cayman's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, has said some members of staff at Health City, Cayman Islands, have fallen ill with what is presumed to be COVID-19. Notice the term that he uses, what is presumed to be COVID-19.
He suspects it.
In a tweet Friday morning, Lee said the East End Hospital is suspending services for any new patients and ambulatory services. He said further information will be provided to the public. His statement comes hours after Premier Alden McLaughlin announced the first case of COVID-19 in the Cayman Islands had been confirmed at a press conference on Thursday afternoon. So I'm just sharing that part of you. There's more to the article, but we have the callers that we want to accommodate. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Just to update you guys, Mr. Art McLean, can you answer this question, please, if you don't mind, sir, please?
Sure, sure.
I heard you say before that we definitely can't stop these things from, like, cruise ships or airplanes or whatever come from foreign because of our Caymanians, because we can't leave our Caymanians where they may be, you understand me, sir?
Mm-hmm.
So I get your point of view. Do the Caymanians that go in have some kind of contact with the Caymanians as mothers, father, sister, uncle, husband, wife, or whatever when they go away?
Can you repeat that?
Would they have the contact with their own families in the Cayman Islands as a person go away from Cayman?
Absolutely. I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would think so myself. Just think back up from December or whatever. And you say you can't shut them because the Caymanians overseas have to come back if they want to come back and when they want to come back.
No, I didn't say we can't shut the country. I'm saying we can't stop them from coming back.
We can't stop who?
Caymanians.
No, we can't stop the Caymanians. So what about the foreigners? Then what do you do with them?
But we have put ban on different countries.
People traveling from various countries.
China, Italy, name it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a long list of countries.
And even he pointed also that even with Caymanians coming back, that you can place certain conditions on them when they return to the Cayman Islands as well.
While we can't stop our Caymanians from going to those countries in the category 1, that it's spread big. While we can't stop them from going there, nor can we prevent them from coming home. Our control is when they get here, we can do what we want with them.
Yeah, right.
Not what we want, but we can require them to do certain things.
Right. I can do certain things that need to be done.
Right. To protect the public.
Right. Protect our health, our people in Cayman Islands or whatever.
Exactly, is correct.
Caller?
I agree with that part there.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. We're going to try to grab the other caller before 9 o'clock. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, OC, and good morning, Mr. Arden.
Good morning, ma'am.
Did I understand you, Mr. Arden, that you had passed out flyers or will be passing out flyers?
Yeah, as we speak, my man is in East End passing out. Those, what are they? I can't... They're entitled...
fact sheet, the
fact sheet.
Yes.
The fact sheet. And
Coronavirus 2019 NCOV fact sheet.
Right, and then the advice sheet for home isolation.
Oh, okay. Now, do all of the members of the LA, all our representatives, do they have the same flyers you have?
Well, if they don't have them, they have access to them because they are printing them off left, right, and center. Because I mean, I expect them to give me like 300 of each flyer that will go to every house, but I may have a little more than that. But that information is all up on the website. But here is how I believe that the value of it. When you give somebody something and it's of importance, the first thing you do is go in your kitchen and stick it up on your kitchen, right? On your refrigerator, right? And
Yes,
that
sir.
is what I believe is important about giving that information.
Go ahead, caller. Finish your question real quickly. We only have about a minute left.
And
Sorry.
the next question is, when you send out that person or persons, with are they sent out with precautions of because in every district we have much older people with all kinds of illness. Did that happen, or should that happen? That when a person is sent out with these flyers, that the precautions are made for them as well?
Are you talking about the person taking the flyers out or the person
Yes,
receiving
sir.
them?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
well, you know, that person has to wash their hands. The person has to ensure that they stay with they're 3 to 6 feet away from because the person has no symptoms, so they follow the normal rules.
Yeah, the prevention.
Okay.
And caller, I just would point out to you that there is also flyers that talk about coronavirus prevention tips, and there are 4 tips that they have on there in terms of what should be done about cleansing your hands, covering your nose and mouth, avoiding close contact with people who are suffering from acute respiratory infection, as well as avoiding unnecessary travel as well. So have you, is that included in the stuff that you hand out as well? The prevention tips also. So we would expect that people would follow those tips also, caller.
Okay, I thank you. I have a very savvy son here
Yes,
that he's
you do. Yes, you do. You do.
This stuff all the time.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
We do. We know about him. Respect him.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good day to both of you.
Okay. Headline News, 9 o'clock, folks. When we return, the conversation will continue. We welcome your questions. If you have any, we will try to give you as much information as possible. And I will urge you, all and sundry, let's not make this political. This is an existential issue that we're facing now in terms of people's lives. So let's not make it political. Let's try to share information, valid information, correct information, official information that will help everyone. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Follow Radio K-Man on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio K-Man.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news. Access.
Local, regional, international, this is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Staff at Health City Cayman Islands have fallen ill. Cayman's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee.
Yesterday, we reported to you that a patient at Health City is the first patient in the Cayman Islands to have a confirmed diagnosis of COVID-19. He was being treated for cardiac symptoms and was isolated immediately he developed any chest symptoms. However, a number of staff looked after him before this diagnosis was evident. Unfortunately now, around 10 of these staff are not feeling well, and as a result, Health City has advised me that they will not be accepting patients for the time being. Although we will be doing further tests, we must assume that staff and patients at Health City may have been exposed to COVID, and in order to protect further spread, movements to and from the hospital need to stop straight away. Please can I take this opportunity to remind everyone that if you have symptoms of difficulty in breathing, fever or a cough, the first thing you should do is isolate yourself. And the second thing is to contact the HSA's flu hotline on 1-800-534-8600 or for Digicel on 947-3077. Please let us all take care of our community together. Do the right thing.
Again, about 10 staff members at Health City Cayman Islands, where the first patient confirmed to have COVID-19 in Cayman has been receiving treatment since Monday, have fallen ill. The hospital has halted the acceptance of new patients as a result. Make sure to keep it locked right here as we follow this developing story.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Hi, I am Dr. Lee, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health. The Ministry and the Department of Public Health, along with our partners, are working hard to help protect residents from the novel coronavirus. Did you know the best way to help prevent infection is to avoid being exposed? So please, wash your hands frequently with soap and water, or use an alcohol-based sanitizer. Cover your noses and mouths when coughing or sneezing. And as best as possible, keep a good distance or avoid contact with anyone with symptoms of a respiratory infection. To read more about the public health's updates, please visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, the Honorable Arden McLean, Leader of the Opposition. Two callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. I have a question. What is the government waiting for to order school closures and a limit on the numbers of persons who can gather socially or otherwise?
Mm-hmm. I'll let Mr. McLean answer that for you, sir. We were actually talking off air before the show started about that as well. And, he is a member of a government committee. And this is something that they have been discussing recently as well. Mr. McLean?
Yeah, that's a distinct voice.
Yes.
Former colleague, we have been wrestling with this like everyone else. There's another meeting today where a decision will be made because we needed to make some consultation with people. There are countries who have banned gatherings of 100 and less and the likes. Now, we know how that is going to affect this country. That means churches, funerals, the likes. We are going to have difficulty with that. So the decision will be made. As a matter of fact, yesterday, the government made a decision to cancel the sports day today. We had meetings scheduled. I had a meeting scheduled for East End for Monday night, and that has been cancelled. The one last night for Baden Town was cancelled, and the others that were scheduled has been cancelled as well because it's a gathering. You can't, but then the difficulty you find with that is, do we ban social gatherings like restaurants and bars as well, and you can appreciate that is going to put a vice grip around the neck of this country. So that decision has to be made, and schools as well, whether or not. But of course, the other consideration that must be looked at is, it's always depends on the proximity of people to each other, and that is where it is most difficult to make these decisions. But a decision will be made on now the numbers in those crowds, things like carnivals. That carnival that is coming up, that decision has to be made and stop that as well.
Right. Caller, you still there?
Well, yeah, I'm still here. Here's my concern. I know that it's going to affect the economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We should have thought about these things. We have to be thinking about these things. Not even now. But I submit to you, the economy will recover. But if we have a population decimated by death through COVID-19, I don't know how significant that will be in enhancing the recovery of the economy. I would rather err on the side of caution and say, give me citizens who are healthy, even although the economy is going to take a dive. Because after that, if my citizens are healthy, when the virus eventually dissipates, we will take some time to build back up the economy.
Yes, the resilience is there.
If we lose a significant number, we already know we have 60,000. Heaven knows how many of those are people like us. If we lose a significant number of those, that's a body blow that is more significant than any dip in the economy. And I was wondering what we are waiting for to close the schools, the university, college. All these things should be closed. It's easy to have online programs and online courses. It should have been done a long time ago. If I were the president of the university, I can guarantee you the university college would have been closed now.
So, and you believe that should have been done even without us having confirmed that the virus was here in the Cayman Islands, sir?
Yes, sir. Because an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Okay.
But I totally agree with you, colleague. But you also understand, when we close schools, then we need child care.
Oh, no. Well, listen to this. In this age of technology, we have online programs. So we can arrange it so that the students, although the school is closed, the lessons still go on.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. But one of the considerations...
Well, hear me out now. The radical approach is offices may have to consider sending their staff to work from home. So this is serious business.
That is
what I'm driving at, miss. That's what I'm driving at, my honorable friend. That's what I'm driving at.
And my friend, that has been considered. That's why yesterday was taken to meet with Chamber of Commerce, and the large organizations. The government is driving that meeting with them to tell them what to expect so that they can assist with it.
Yes.
Let me end by saying, sir, while we need prayer, we need a prescription.
Of course.
For action. Okay?
You know, incidentally, the premier made that same intervention at the meeting yesterday. He said, we can pray as much as we want, but we got to do something too.
Yep.
That's right. Okay, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for that. Very astute observations and questions.
Thank you.
You'll be happy to know that I'm in the field among the cattle. You can probably hear them.
Yeah.
Yes.
All you're going to get is soft stuff between your toes.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but I'm concerned for all of us.
Yeah.
Thank
all
you.
right.
Have a great day.
You too, sir. Thank you very much.
Farming.
Let's grab the other caller before we go to a break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Good morning, Arden.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, young man.
Well, I'm glad you called me young man. I had it another year on Monday, thank God.
Yeah, I think I did. Wish you
belated
now.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to wait until I've had a meeting with an emergency meeting with my council, and we have come to the conclusion that on the side of caution, we are going to not have the meeting on Tuesday night, and the office will be closed for 2 weeks because I don't want 250 senior citizens in one spot for 2 hours on Tuesday night. So if you could every now and then broadcast that, I would be very appreciative.
And I think we need to qualify this. This is the Seafarers
Association.
Seafarers Association. Now everybody recognize your voice like OC and I do, you know.
And a question for you.
So because every time I get on the radio, somebody goes, "You on the radio again?"
Question for you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I believe that you would acknowledge that huge number of your membership, when it comes to those who were active seamen, have reached that age where probably 60 or over. We know that when it comes to this coronavirus, that it is affecting the elderly more. It's probably more deadly when it comes to the elderly than the younger folks as well. Does your organization plan on sharing any information with government in relation to your membership, their names and addresses? Because I believe that because of the size of our community, we have an opportunity to deal with people individually and to know what is happening with every elderly person on this island if we want to. And my concern has to do with the older folks and ensuring that we take care of them and that we address their needs as quickly as possible.
I agree. And sorry, Arden, you can take it to your committee. The names and addresses of all of our members is right at my fingertips. All the powers that they have to do is call me and make sure I'm at the office, that I can, tell them who is who. As a matter of fact, I had a senior citizen come to the office yesterday with a typed letter of suggestions, and one of them had about 10 of the really senior members that I should call, and I'm going to do that today, God willing. But like I said, on the side of caution, I don't want to have on my conscience 250 really senior citizens in one place, even though it's normally a social and music and dancing and food and all that. So I think it's better if, and the council agrees, that we cancel it and cancel the office for opening for two weeks. But all the powers that we have to do is call me. My number is 916-3334, and I'll be happy to dispense those names that you're talking about, Mr. Connor.
And then stand without being prejudiced to people's age and stuff. Like OC say, we do know that this thing because is more serious for older persons like us. But
I'm glad you said us.
Yeah, I was talking about OC and
including me.
What about me?
Well, you don't seem to know age, your age.
Right?
But
well, people do tell me that I carry my age well, but I guarantee you I'm on that borrowed time list.
Okay,
I'm grateful to be.
Yeah, and I think what needs to happen too, we need to consider isolating the older people in this country, and follow me when I say isolating, mean treat them differently, not to put them out to pasture, lock them down, but treat them differently, and that is from government perspective, from a society perspective, because it will prevent them from getting these things, like provide them with the necessary stuff to and keep our distance.
Lot,
Right.
That is why it's so prudent that we. I mean, all the doctors and the scientists, they have said that it affects elderly people more.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we're cognizant of that fact, so that's why mainly why we're canceling it. But of course, that doesn't take away the fact that it is here and is here to stay. And until it dissipates, we have to have all precautions and render all precautions to the elderly, which is all of our duty.
And then, son, you have a unique situation where you have contact with all these people, like you say, it's at your fingertips. Maybe you can, government can provide those fact sheets and the guidance sheets and the likes, the flyers that you can get straight into their homes, so that they know what their personal.
When you go to your committee today, all you have to do is tell them to call me, and then I'm not totally illiterate when it comes to computers, so I can use a computer to a certain extent. So
yeah, okay.
I can dispense those names quite easily.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that. Certainly.
If you could advertise that or talk about it every now and then, I would appreciate it.
We certainly will, and we welcome you at any point in time that you want to communicate any information to your membership. When I'm on this show, please feel free to call in, and we'll ensure that information gets out for you, sir. folks.
Thank you so much, and you all have a good day.
All right,
sir.
you too. Then
We're going to take a commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly when we return, and we have a voice note as well, and I have a few WhatsApp messages, questions that I want to share with you as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Bodden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS Brack Agency in Cayman Brack. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit fiscayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa! I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each, and it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
It's that time of the year again. Time for the Cayman Islands Meals on Wheels Change for Change coin drive. Time for us to come together as a community and raise much needed funds to support Meals on Wheels so they can provide meals to some of the most vulnerable members of our country, our seniors. They need 200 volunteers over 2 days. Will you donate just 2 hours of your time to come out and assist in collecting donations for Cayman Islands Meals on Wheels? Last year, the Meals on Wheels coin drive helped raise enough funds to provide over 6,000 nutritious hot meals to seniors, housebound, and disabled individuals in need. Thanks to generous donations and awesome volunteers like you who gave their time. Join Cayman Islands Meals on Wheels, Davenport Development, and Radio Cayman in the fight to end senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Volunteer today. Contact Meals on Wheels at info@mealsonwheels.ky or call 769-1974.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Come back to For the Record. Honorable Orrett McLean is in the studio with me. He, of course, is the leader of the opposition. Paul, do we have that voice note ready for playing? Let it roll.
We're talking about all kinds of ways of combating this coronavirus, but I ain't hear anybody talking about praying. We're a praying community, so maybe we should call a National Day of Prayer and see if that will hinder the coronavirus from taking us over completely. That's my 2 cents. Have a great day. God bless.
Okay, I want to thank that caller for that. Certainly, yes. Prayer. We can pray. We can pray for those who are affected by it as well. We can pray for those who have been elected to guide us in the Cayman Islands. We can pray for those who are in the medical field who have to deal with it, the families. We can pray for everyone. But we shouldn't also remember, I believe, that there is a saying, I'm not sure if it's a Bible quote or not, but also that the Lord helped those who help themselves. So we have to do our part as
along with prayer,
including praying.
Yeah, and prayer is welcome. That's part of it. But along with prayer, those of us who are in position need to look at the scenarios and make provisions too.
Okay, and someone has sent something actually. Say tonight everyone is asked to please join for 3 minutes to pray for information of the coronavirus situation in the world, visualize and ask for healing, anointing, and energy like rain to fall and soak every inch of land in the world. All flu viruses, coronavirus, and pneumonia-like illnesses supernaturally die out by itself. Well, this is pretty long, but the whole idea is to prayer, because if you're trying to discourage large gatherings, then you would not necessarily want people to come together, but everyone, you can choose a time, a date and a time when everyone prays, or there are some people who pray every day. There are some people who pray several times per day as well. And the whole idea is your faith, whatever your faith is, you want to rely on that to a certain extent in these very challenging times as well. Any callers there, Paul? No callers on there, Mr. McLean?
I want to. See, you said on the close, on the break, that talking about not making this political.
Yeah.
And I think I want to speak briefly on that. You're right. This is not politics. I mean, this country knows that Alden and I call him Alden, that's not disrespectful. Let's say the Premier. The Premier and I are miles apart when it comes to politics and how and our opinions differ significantly at this stage in our political career. But this has nothing to do with politics anymore. This has to do with the very people that we were elected to serve and to protect and to make decisions on their behalf. And I said earlier that the Premier and I had been in contact all week on this matter. And there was no political interventions in that. We were two human beings having a job to do. Two Caymanians have a job to do, and we need to come together and do it. And I believe all of us have that personal responsibility to set aside our political differences at this stage and put our backs to the wheel. Whether you like me or don't, that's immaterial now. Whether you like the Premier or not, that's immaterial. It's over. That like Roy say, if we are alive and well at the end of this, when a vaccine has been found and it's all cleared up, that is the objective now. We cannot, and this thing that people are doing, spreading fear in this community, it needs to stop. We must wait for the facts before
to emerge, yes.
we start commenting. And I'm not saying that there isn't a place in this country for someone who wants to go out there and do blogs and the likes. The truth must always come out. But one of the things that you're missing is that the penal code makes specific provisions for it, and you will go to jail for spreading.
There's a section in the penal code,
things that
section 64, publication of false statements, etc., likely to cause fear and alarm to the public. And later on, I will
read it now.
But I have to search for it. But in the meantime, one of our callers, listeners, wrote in and said, "Good morning. I had asked before about 3% hydrogen peroxide's ability to destroy the virus. Of course, we don't have any experts in here in relation to the ability of hydrogen peroxide. We do know that whatever hand sanitizers that are used, that it should be 60%, at least 60% alcohol based.
Right,
in relation to that.
I do know alcohol will destroy, will clean the surfaces and destroy it. But you have to constantly be doing that. I can't say on hydrogen peroxide.
We'll try to see if we can find it.
Yeah, but
and then they also wanted us to point out that the virus is not a death sentence, which is true. It says, like the flu, the virus is not fatal. People do survive, but at the same time, people do die as a result of it as well. And we know the more vulnerable are those persons who are elderly and those persons who have other chronic illnesses as well.
Immune system
low and stuff, things of that nature. Yes. 2 callers. Let's grab one before we go to our commercial break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to the honorable leader of the opposition,
yes, sir.
McLean. No. Good to hear you on there, McLean. And the sane, rational way you're speaking and giving out what your opinions and so forth, and not this element of panic or fear. Because that's the greatest thing we have to fear is this thing, as President Roosevelt quite rightly said during the Second World War, a far, far, far greater disaster than this would ever be. The greatest thing we have to fear is fear itself. We have to think rationally. Said, I'm glad my friend Denson, incidentally a year younger than I am, this kid, I forgot to call him on his birthday, did talk about that. I was thinking the moment I heard about it, this Siemens gathering, that maybe it should be canceled, and I saw. So he did that. We have to understand. I had that almost an argument with colleagues at work yesterday, talking about we should order the closing of the airport, closing of the port. Because I said to them, do you realize that I believe I'm correct in saying this? 90% or more of our medicine in this island comes by air. And they don't come on cargo planes. They come on the usual planes that bring in passengers, I'm sure of that. And we are dependent as a country, very dependent on what comes in. We know that. We don't have any factories here really producing the day-to-day things we need, though I must at this time say that I recall what Mr. Jim Borden used to say to me very often, Nick, wish we would try to move forward with getting a little factories here, even assembling things. Like I remember he came to my mind, radios, fridges, the stoves and different things like that, that we haven't have to be so dependent, because it could be done. It started really a long time ago, but with the gatherings of people, you mentioned prison. If we even send people to jail there, we have another crowded situation there, and I don't know what they're doing there with the inmates, but maybe not having them all, say, have lunch or breakfast at the same time. I have no idea how they do things, but that, as you said, that came to my mind. And we have to remember there will be gatherings. We have armed forces, we have police where they have to get together. And so there is the risk. But one of the big things is to try, as I said, prayer. Prayer is very essential, but we can prayer singly. We don't have to gather in a huge crowd to prayer. And God isn't deaf, so we don't have to go out in the streets shouting and all that. And but we do have to try to keep healthy, very healthy, because it's inevitable that we will have little gatherings. We cannot close down work completely. We cannot shut down things, because the economy can only last for so long, since we do not have any direct form of income tax, where they have in these cool countries, all these other countries, where when people are not working, the workmen's comp that they paid into unemployment compensation when they're unemployed. Canada comes to mind with that. it takes up the slack. Whilst they have 5-7 months of work in many things and 5 months off, and depending on that, then the 7 months they put into that, into the government's coffers, it gained interest, and they can have that. So we have to be very careful how we think about people not being employed for any great lengths of time, the burden on the government. Money still has to come in somehow. So we have to continue with many things, and we can't just shut down everything. It's not possible, but we will try and limit gatherings. Definitely, yes, that are not totally, completely productive in intrinsic value. But another thing I wanted, when you're a person who has contracted this and has gotten over it and so forth, has that person developed some kind of immunity to this virus that when they go back out, they're not likely to get, if they're successful in getting rid of it completely in their bloodstream?
I don't believe that they have the answer to that yet. Until they're able to develop a antibody or whatever, cure for it. Then
I was looking at the guy Sanja on CNN. He was saying last night, that question was put to him, and I saw a documentary as well. And they say they don't know. They can't answer that because it's so relatively unknown, and they can't answer. So
this strain, because it's a known virus for many, many years. It's just this strain. I think 5 strains of it. I'd often question something, and I'll say it and get off.
Okay.
Give somebody else a chance. I often said that we should have looked at the iguana's ability to totally be immune to something as poisonous as manchineel and see if there's not some medicinal properties. It has to be, but we shoot and kill them and want them out of here because of their color. And then we could see if we could delve into that and develop something like the Cuban scorpion, which is the venom from it is now being used by thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, as in fighting cancer, and in some form of treating cancer. We all know about that. It's being used all over. So maybe there's a possibility that there's something there with this. I can't understand if we didn't do it, why we didn't do it. It has to be something special that gives them that immunity. They're the poisonous thing like manchineel. Have a wonderful day. I listen on.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Thank you very much. Commercial break, Paul. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
2020 means perfect vision. And if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Just 2 of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Cayman Water would like to advise the public of roadwork interruptions on the West Bay Road between the Kamanabig Underpass in front of Burger King down to the Palm Heights Hotel, formerly Cayman Beach Suites, on Friday, March 13th and on Saturday, March 14th between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. Island Paving will be repairing the rough road surface. That's roadwork on the West Bay Road between Burger King and Palm Heights Hotel, 7:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. Drivers are being asked to proceed with caution and to obey all traffic signs. Cayman Water apologizes to the public for any inconvenience caused.
I am Dr. Lee, Chief Medical Officer in the Ministry of Health. The Ministry and the Department of Public Health, along with our partners, are working hard to help protect residents from the novel coronavirus. Did you know that following travel advisories is especially helpful in controlling infections? So, avoid travel if you have a cough, flu-like symptoms, and a fever. It's also important to practice general infection prevention measures at all times. That means frequently wash your hands and avoid close contact with people suffering with acute respiratory symptoms. To read more about the Public Health's travel advisory and other updates, please visit hsa.ky.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Honorable Orrett McLean, Leader of the Opposition. I promised you, we have two callers and we will be coming to those callers very quickly. I promised I would share Section 64 of the Penal Code with you, and I have it right up here on my screen, plus one of my listeners who is quite adept at finding these things has sent it to me by WhatsApp as well. Section 64 subsection 1 of the Penal Code reads, a person who publishes any false statement, rumor, or report which is likely to cause fear or alarm to the public or to disturb the public peace commits an offense and is liable to a fine of $5,000 and to imprisonment for 5 years. And subsection 2 says, it shall be a defense to a charge under subsection 1 if the accused proves that prior to the publication he took such measures to verify the accuracy of such statement, rumor, or report as to lead him reasonably to believe that it was true. So there is a defense.
Yeah, but
there is a defense, but you and that defense is that you should have taken measures to verify the accuracy of any statement or rumor or report that would have reasonably reasonably made you believe that it was true. So if you have done your research, done your homework, and that is why I say sometimes people will send me information on here during the course of the show. I will go and I will search and see if it's out there before I will announce it. Just like this morning with the Compass article that was put out there. You had gotten verifiable information, about what was happening at Health City. But I also wanted to ensure that it had been put out in the public domain before I mentioned it, on this show as well.
So, for instance, in this case, if you hear that somebody has it or something, the verifiable way is you call the hospital or you call the disaster management or you
someone in authority
that can verify it or deny it.
Okay. Now here's one of our listeners' response to what we said about the penal code. It says so the Bush doctor can say what he wants on the radio about curing every disease under the sun. He makes and sells medicine which is also against the law. But Arden is threatening the rest of us. No one ever mentioned jail time for him. I know you don't need to think about it, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond to that. Let's grab a caller first.
The Bush doctor is not spreading fear, and that will affect the public at large. Yes. That's all.
That may have to do with advertising.
He's expressing an opinion that he believes he can do this. So he believes that to be true.
Yeah.
So, but he's not spreading fear because you don't have to go get it from him.
Yeah, and I also want to remind people that if you remember Jim Baker, if that name rings a bell, televangelist, the federal government in the United States is now suing him in relation to some sort of lotion or something like that he's claiming that will cure the virus as well. So they're bringing lawsuits against him for that. Let's grab a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yeah, well, concerning if a person is able to get it again after being
infected,
after getting well, I saw on the news that a person did get it again, so it's possible.
Mm-hmm. What news? What news was that? Credible news site?
Yes, credible.
Which one?
It was somewhere. I can't remember exactly the news channel, but it was credible.
Mm-hmm.
But they were trying to
didn't get it off of Facebook though,
yeah,
right?
No, they were studying it and trying to find out exactly why.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it did happen. But concerning this coronavirus,
mm-hmm.
the government needs to build another hospital. This is something that's not only needed here in the present, but in the future.
Okay.
And for the government to rely on our hospital at this time and private hospitals to accommodate patients
mm-hmm.
is not right. The government needs to build a new hospital that can hold at least 700 patients. And for people to be quarantined at home is very dangerous, because we have a lot of people that their elderly parents or grandparents are staying with them. So this is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Jeremy Hunt mentioned on the news that they will be seeing a lot of their elderly loved ones passing away because of this disease. And he was warning people to be prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Let's grab the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, OC, and good morning to the leader of the opposition, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Good morning, sir.
Another distinct.
I heard my friend Roy Borden call in earlier, and the points he made were extremely valid, as he usually does, and I agree basically with it. But I would like to suggest that what is important right now is that we live in the now. What's happening right now? We might build hospitals and some point in time, but we have to focus our attention on what we have right now and what is available. I think that one of the things we need to give serious thought to, and I did hear our CMO say that there is that situation at Chetty's Hospital, and we only got two others. I think we have the Christy Tomlinson, we have the HSA. What everybody should be focusing on, we have limited ability, and using the best discussions and so on as to how it can be managed, because it seems as if it's not just one now, it's sprung to 10, and how many more we don't really know. And while we got to consider businesses, that is for sure, but the businesses ought to understand too that they can only function basically with people. And do you want sick people, or do you want people who are well that's doing your business? So therefore it comes to the point, in my opinion, like Roy was saying earlier, you got to look now at restricting persons, their movement, their gatherings, and so on.
Yeah.
I watched the doctor who's the head of it over there in the States this morning, and he was making that same point. You can think that this will happen, or you can think that will happen, but the truth is we don't really know, and the only thing, like he said, that we know, it's going to increase. And bearing that in mind, we need to look at the schools. You know, if So I think Roy also suggested about the schools, and that if the children got to stay home, well, they will need care and so forth. Well, on vacation, the children have to be at home. The parents go to work, and if they don't have to go to work or they should not go to work, then we need to reflect back at Hurricane Ivan. That came and didn't ask anybody whether it should come or not, but we, the resilient Caymanians, realized what we had to do, and it was incredible how we survived that, how we helped one another, and helping one another at this time strikes me like obeying some of the instructions, washing your hands, staying a distance away from persons, watch the sneezing and the coughing and all the rest of it. So I think we ought to focus on the now, right now, because for all practical purposes, it seems we only have 2 hospitals right now. So will the Premier restrict the passenger ships calling here? It's happening in other parts of the world, including the United States, is my understanding. Then that is what we have to do. If the restaurants are best shut down at this time, tomorrow, next week, or whatever, then that's what has to happen. Of course, staff won't get paid and they won't be able to work, but at least those people who are working there have apartments, and quite likely they got food and they can prepare food in their own home and so on. So, I think, gentlemen, that we just need to look practically at this situation and act accordingly. Act, to me, is the very active word. Act. We just can't talk about it. We have to act. If the Premier makes a decision that there's no more cruise ships, well, for the next 30 days or whatever, then there's no more cruise ships calling.
I think the cruise ships themselves have decided, some already have decided that they're not going to be sailing, and we probably will see more of that. So we may not even have to do that ourselves here, caller.
Yeah. Well, that is the point that I am endeavoring to make, that these things that have to be done, they have to be done.
Yep.
It will upset people, it will affect people and so on, but if we got to do it, I do hope that the government and the opposition will see the reality of it and do exactly what needs to be done. Well, and I hope the best for us.
Thank you very much, caller. We have to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Preventing dengue is as simple as preventing mosquito bites. Use a mosquito repellent, wear protective clothing, and stay indoors during early dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Control the places around you where mosquitoes breed. Remove stagnant water in outdoor and household settings. As a weekly habit, persons should change the water in vases, clear the water in saucers under potted plants, and ensure air conditioner drip trays are free of stagnant water. Outdoor objects capable of holding water should be kept empty and preferably disposed of or put into dry storage if not used. These include open bottles and tins, watering cans, buckets, empty paint tins, and old vehicle tires. Do your part to control the spread of dengue. The dengue virus is an infectious disease transmitted through mosquito bites. Symptoms may come on as early as 4 days or as late as 3 weeks following an infection. There is no vaccine or specific medication to treat dengue. Symptoms of dengue include high fever, headache, pain behind the eyes, joint and muscle pain, and rash. If persons have any of these symptoms, they should go to the nearest health center or hospital. It is advised to drink lots of liquids and avoid medication that contains aspirin.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In studio with me, the Honorable Orrett McLean, Leader of the Opposition. In relation to whether or not a person can contract the illness, coronavirus illness a second time, I'll read the portion from a article from Business Insider, and part of that article talks about it says a person is quoted, with many infectious diseases, a person can develop immunity against a specific strain after exposure or infection. Amira Roses, a professor of global health and epidemiology at George Mason University, told Business Insider, is quoted as saying, often that person will not get sick again upon subsequent exposure to it. But in the case of the new coronavirus, according to Zan, doctors don't think the antibodies patients develop are strong or long-lasting enough to keep them from contracting the disease again. He says once you have the infection, it could remain dormant and with minimal symptoms, and then you can get an exacerbation of it if it finds its way into the lungs. So I guess that's in a way. Okay, no, I won't say that.
Well, but you see, I will write down some stuff you said. Doctors don't think that this, and it could remain dormant. So there's nothing definitive.
Nothing
coming
to,
from
yeah. Until they're able to start all that.
There's nothing.
Okay. The other one also says one of our listeners has written in and said also I said you earlier were wondering about a Bible verse. James chapter 2 verse 26 teaches us that for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Yes, and the person is written and said, yes, pray, but wash your hands often and keep your place clean. Prayer answered to reduce likelihood of contracting the coronavirus. And isn't the Cayman Islands under a state of emergency from 2 weeks ago put in place by Deputy Governor? No, not aware of that. Some other stuff here. But I want to thank the caller.
Deputy Governor can't put in a state of emergency.
Yeah. I want to thank them for sharing the Bible verse with us. How many callers you say we have, Paul? We have 3 callers and we have 5 minutes left. We're likely to run over, but I'm going to ask each caller to try to be as brief as possible so that we can accommodate everyone. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Mr. Orrett McLean.
Good morning.
Kenneth Bryan here. I'll be quick. I just want to say that I know there's a lot of people out there who are doing what is considered panic buying, and though I am concerned about that, I understand where the principle comes from because every person wants to protect their home. But I just want to remind everybody that the people that are most vulnerable are those who may not be able to get to the supermarket to get and rush around, which is the seniors. As a representative for Georgetown Central, I would hope to try to get a packet of sterilizing goods for each one of those seniors who usually are at home, don't get out very often because they're the most vulnerable. For those who have bought a lot of stuff, I understand where it came from, but do me a favor and be mindful that there are people in your neighborhood. If you have excess amount of hand sanitizer or bleach or spray disinfectant, check on the seniors in the area because they are most vulnerable. People that are younger and in middle age and kids, are even though they're susceptible to getting infected, they can recover from it. Most seniors, particularly those who have ailments already, are ones that are most at risk of that serious word, which I would rather not say. So be mindful. I know everybody's buying to protect their families, but let's do our part as a brother's keeper to check on your neighborhood, check on those seniors that you might know, Miss Johnson down the road or what have you. Check to see if they have enough, because they are most susceptible. And those are the ones that I'm most concerned about. Because even myself as a representative, I can't get goods to them because there's no goods here. And I'm worried that they didn't get a chance to get to the supermarket when the people who are more stronger with their immune systems, the ones that are in middle age, who can get through this easier, have got most of the things we need to use.
Got you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's get the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Morning, quickly. Yeah, Orman here. I would hope that someone in Radio Cayman would have the gentleman that was on Rooster this morning, Dr. Lockhart. I think he's a very positive, enlightening gentleman, and it would be good to hear him coming on and encouraging people in a positive way, that we have to think positive about this thing and not to be discouraged about it. Secondly, Captain Scott, I think was yesterday, talking about the, hello?
Yeah, go right ahead. We're hearing you. Sorry.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. He was talking about sanitizers. Listerine is one of the most and one of the best sanitizers that people can use. Like he said, you can rub it on your face always, anyway, except your eyes, and it's 99% germ killer. So people might want to know that as well. So anyway, I thought again that thank Mr. Lockhart for coming on, Dr. Lockhart for coming on this morning, and I would hope to hear him on the radio more frequently and enlightening people rather than getting paranoid and panic. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Last caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, gentlemen. Just thought that what Mr. Bryan said was part of what I was going to say too, and we should heed that also, and what Mr. Gilbert McLean, our minister, also said, I agree with, but we've got to remember one part of the equation is that second almighty to many people, money. And the big businesses and the other businesses and so forth, they're going to want to keep certain things going for a fact. We can't deny that's not, it's going to happen that way. So when we try to get businesses back, we try to get people back to work as quickly as possible. I understand that. That's not exactly my thoughts, but that's the way it's most likely going to have to be. So I would suggest maybe we think about, yes, restricting crowds and how many, but there are many elderly people who depend on restaurants for food and go and buying their food there and preparing. So we'll have to restrict maybe the numbers that can go into a restaurant at once. And the staff, of course, some might be sick, and so limited staff and all those things. But we have to take in mind that life will go on, must go on, and the prayer is very, very important. But prayer, as you read about from James, the Bible, without action, it's not going to do much. So you must do what God would like us to do. God wants us to be good and wise, but not stupid in taking unnecessary risks, but keep ourselves healthy as we can and help those who might be down and so forth, and try to get things to them. Thank you very much, and we just pray and hope for the very, very best.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
I believe he talked about older persons needing restaurants and stuff. That's what this community is about. This is about some of the younger ones who are not who can move and their movement is free. Go out and pick it up and take it to the older ones. Mm-hmm. That's what this community is about. That's precisely what we need to do. Take personal responsibility for assisting our older ones. That is precisely it. At the same time, protecting ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's precisely what is required in this country right now. I have said that the Premier and I are working, and we have put politics aside. Now let's put aside all else and protect not only ourselves, but our loved ones as well, especially our older and younger ones. That's what we need to do. I know, let me say, the people of this country have a personal responsibility. Government can do so much. And I hear my former colleagues, and they're right. But they also know that those decisions are hard to come by because of restricting people and whatnot. The people should know in this country also about hospital beds and the ability. The government is working, the HSA in particular, is working and formulating with response with all of the hospitals that are available, all of the medical personnel in this country. And it should be noted that about building new hospitals, I don't know how much that would be, but certainly I think that we're at 49 beds per 100,000 in this country, you know. We're over that threshold. And places like England are way below us. So now what that means for this, I don't know. But we should also be cognizant that the Premier and the Governor has the ability to, one, issue a state of emergency. That's number one. And that's not no deputy governor. That's the law doesn't allow him to do that. Precisely. Okay, so whoever wrote
unless he's acting.
Yeah, unless he's acting. But more importantly, is that allows them also, to commandeer anything in this country, whatever property there is, in the interest of our country. That includes hotels and vehicles and whatever is on this earth here in the Cayman Islands can be commandeered. If it's planes at the airport, whatever it is, it can be commandeered in the interest of the safety of this country. So rest assured that whatever resources are available in this country will be used to its fullest to protect this country and its people. We have the authority to do it. The Premier, the committee will make recommendations to him, and he has the authority to do it. So don't worry, but there's no need for panic. We don't want people to panic. That's important. The message here is let us start taking care of ourselves.
What one of our listeners has written in and questioning the. We know now that the cases in the UK have increased as well, and what is being done about British Airways coming to the Cayman Islands and British nationals traveling to the Cayman Islands, or Caymanians traveling to the UK.
There's no difference if they are showing symptoms of this thing, whether it's residents or not. I got people, family
but the UK
members
hasn't
too.
been put on that list like Italy and all of those. Yeah.
The UK is on the category 2, which is not as big as China and Italy and Japan and all those places. So that it's not as widespread in the U.S. You got one death in Florida, I think it was. But, of course, it's increasing on a daily basis. It's going to come a point where we have to shut something down, OC.
Now, yeah.
It's going to reach that point.
Yeah.
It's going to reach that point. But, I mean, anyone coming from China will not be allowed in here.
Yeah, okay. And I know earlier we said we didn't really want to bring up the politics into it, and I'm not to a certain extent. But if there is going to be a defining moment, a defining period in the current government's tenure, including members of our legislative assembly, including non-elected government officials, it is now. It is now. We have had the advantage of seeing what has occurred in other countries, seeing what measures that they have taken, some which we may want to adopt, others we may not want to, based on the negative results that have resulted
and our own unique situation.
From that. But this has to be a defining moment. We all persons who have some level of responsibility in terms of the direction that the Cayman Islands take, we have to be forward looking. We have to really look at every single aspect, down the line in terms of what we do. You're talking about schools now and looking at as the decisions as to what will happen in the schools. There's so many other things coming down the pike that we
happen as a result of doing.
We have an election that is due in 2021 as well. Does our Constitution address situations if this epidemic continues on, that we can't have an election? Have we sufficiently addressed legislation? I see in Jamaica, for instance, where they're looking at things as to whether or not their constitution allows for what may come down the pike. So we have to be forward-looking, and I implore upon the government, and I think that they're doing, making every best effort to keep the people of the Cayman Islands informed of what is happening. Get that information out there. Keep it flowing. That is one way that you will stem the tide of rumors and everything else, if you get in front of the situation rather than having to react after the horse has bolted the corral.
I totally agree with you, Lucy. But after Hurricane Ivan, when we didn't have a leaf left on our tree, on the trees in this country, we went to Parliament and the first meeting, and I spoke of the mythical bird, the phoenix, who lives for 500 years, consumes himself in fire, and then rises anew. I believe that this country is at that critical stage again to get past this and rise from the ashes anew.
Okay, folks, I've gone 10 minutes over, catching the heat for that as well. So no closing remarks other than say to everyone, please follow the instructions that have been issued by the government in terms of your personal responsibility, personal safety as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands. Thank you, Mr. Leader of the Opposition, for being here as well. Folks,
thank you, O.C.
Take care. God bless.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. K-Man Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The K-Man Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates.
FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.